Most people fail at making a life change because they do a half-assed job of figuring out what they really want and need, or they only do a partial job of it. You know, it's a career change, and they just think about, well, what would the job be, and how much money can I make doing it? And they don't think about the rest of their life. The two go hand in hand. I made this mistake back in 1989. Or it's a big overall life change, or a great example is retirement. And they think about the money, for instance, with retirement, but they don't think, what am I going to do with my life? The ultimate result of the half-assed effort is that somebody who only does that wakes up a couple of years from now in their so-called new life and they're realizing it's no better, or it's still empty, or maybe it's even worse. Well, in this video, I've got the doable solution that's worked for me and it's worked for other people. It's a very simple three-step assessment that allows you to take it all into account and from that foundation, design the life and the future that's ideal for you. It's only going to cost you a few minutes. I'll give you a free download on how to do it and the tools that you need for it to find the answers that you need. So back in 1989, I was having to get out of TV news. It wasn't right for me anymore. And it's like, well, now what? What can I do? And all I thought about was the career thing and the money. And what I chose, I did succeed at in terms of career and money, but not the other parts of it. My family life, my health, so many other things. It was a huge multi-decade mistake that I still regret because I did a half-assed job of it. Here's the other honest consideration as we get older. We're running out of time. Now, I still think I have decades of healthy, active life ahead of me, but it's not like I'm 30 years old. And also, too, just things are different than when we were 30. So it's so critical to get it right the first time. So jump ahead to 2010. And I knew I needed to make a life change, A, because what I had chosen before was wrong, and B, you know, the kids were leaving the nest and I was getting older and, you know, now what am I going to do? I needed that blank sheet of paper and I needed to figure out what I was going to do, but how. Well, one of the things I realized is that before I try to figure it out or choose which one, I needed to update my awareness of the world and what people older than me were doing, and everything I learned was different than I thought it would be, but also about myself. What do I need and want now, and as best as I can project in the future? So one of the tools that I think had been around for quite some time that I tried again, and then I thought, wait a minute, great, that gives me an update, but I know a couple of things I can do to also help me figure out what it is that I need and wanted. And so now, by the way, when people say to me, Paul, you're living this great life that you designed and redesigned. How did you do it? Well, one of the keys, especially at the beginning, is this thing. It's called a wheel of life. That's what I picked up in 2010. And when I did it, it helped. But then I thought, to figure out the life change I wanted, to identify and not do a half-assed job like I had done back in 1989, I can take it a couple of steps further. And that's what I'm going to share with you in the next couple of minutes. So what I've done is I've taken this tool that a lot of life coaches use, and it's kind of a feel-good and an assessment of where you are now, and I've stripped it down and added 2 steps to the process that turn it into both a diagnostic tool and a discovery of the essential things that you need and want in life in order to make any change successful. Okay, so the wheel of life, it's been around for a while. I call it a life wheel. It's a little bit less pretentious. And what it is, it's a big circle with pizza slices and 10 concentric circles in it. And each one of these slices represents a major part of your life. Social and fun, family and friends, finances, career, intimate relationships, happiness and life satisfaction, health, meaning, which means purpose, relevance, fulfillment, making a difference, the deep human needs that we have, social and fun, and again, family and friends. And so what you're supposed to do with it is rank where you stand on 1 to 10 level for all of these things right now in your life. I've got a 5 in finances, but a 10 in social and fun, and only a 4 in health. And maybe it's the social and fun that's causing these two problems. You see what I mean? It's an evaluation. You see how everything interacts with each other. So I did that, and that was great. That helped. But then I thought of step 2 that I'm about to give you. So here's how I've adapted it to my life wheel assessment. Is that I was thinking, okay, for this life change, in order to design and customize my future for me that is ideal for me, what do I, what ranking do I want to have all of these? Where do I want to rank finances and career and such? Well, probably like me, you're going to say, well, a 10 in all of them. That's great. But here's in step 2, the really important thing. After you do that, you've got to go through each one of these things and say, let's say they're all 10s. What is a 10 in finances? What does that mean? What does that look like in terms of meaning? What does that look like? What does that mean that I'm doing? And in health, what does me being a 10 in healthy look like? And here's something that's really important on figuring out what that 10 or whatever number you give it looks like. You got to understand why you want it to be that way. And here's what I mean. Most people say, well, why? Because I want to be healthy. That's not good enough. That's very superficial. That's why New Year's resolutions fail. You got to go deeper than that. You got to keep asking yourself why until you come up with a reason that's meaningful. For me, in health, for instance, I asked why 10 times, kept asking why, and the answer I came up was twofold. One, my father died prematurely at age 48, left me and the family and everything. I'm not going to let that happen to me. But the second why is that I'm doing this. I want it to succeed. I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I need to be healthy to do that. And I want to be there for my wife and my kids and hopefully grandkids someday. And I just want to die young at an old age. That's the kind of meaningfulness of that number in any of those areas that you have to have. And so then the third step, after you've identified what you want all of these to be, is how am I going to get there? What's it going to take for that 10 in health? What's it going to take for that 10 in career or whatever? And by the way, with this free downloadable PDF that's, got a wheel of life on it and instructions and things to fill out, if you want to change one of these, go ahead. If it's like no career, you can put something else there. That's up to you. But what you're doing, think about it, is that in the first place, you're going to start getting answers right now. You're not picking and choosing yet because you're getting the foundation to enable you to know what to pick and choose and look into. You're doing what most people don't. You're actually figuring out what you need and want in your life. You're actually thinking about it, and this is a method to get you going. It's an easy method that drives you to figuring these things out. And the really cool part is that once you get going on this, you're going to be thinking about it all the time. You're going to be thinking about it without even trying. It's amazing. And I suggest not just using the sheets that I give you, but having a journal or a notebook handy because you're going to want to make more notes, share more thoughts, and you're also going to be making adjustments as you go along. But that makes it successful. That puts you ahead of 99% of the other people. So when people come up to me and say, Paul, you redesigned your life. I mean, and you're loving it and you're living it. How did you do it? Well, I'm not going to tell people how I did it because it took forever and it was messy. I didn't have videos like this, for instance, to tune into. But the very first thing I say is have that blank sheet of paper and do this process to get you going in the right direction. So your call to action is simple. Download the PDF worksheet. Have the extra paper handy and get started on it right now. Even if you can only do one slice of the pie, get it going. And what you will find is that as you go along, you will get more excited, more intentional, and more hopeful and closer to the answer than you ever could have imagined. And this is what will enable you to design a life, a phase of life, where it's really your turn in life and to live it on your terms.